Hello and welcome back to another Shadowlands gold making video. Or I guess it's technically a news report, but it does affect gold making quite a bit. So I know I'm late to the party, but I've had a couple other videos I really wanted to finish before starting this one. But basically, a couple of days ago, Blizzard sent out a blue post on the forums, where they announced that multiboxing software will no longer be allowed in World of Warcraft, and they would start issuing out warnings to anyone using them. And if they don't stop, then they will send out perma-bans. Many players are happy about this, many are angry, and that's fair. The community is and always will be split on this issue, and everyone will have their own opinions on it. For me, the timing sure sucks, as I did upgrade to using 2 accounts just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm now considering if I want to refund my second Shadowlands purchase, or use it for crafting, processing, and potentially auction house sniping in the first month of Shadowlands. I am really torn because I don't know if it's worth paying for Shadowlands and 2-month subscriptions just to have that small edge. Speaking of refunds, I'm betting there are a lot of refunds from multiboxers right now, because if you were multiboxing, let's say 10 or more accounts, there is pretty much no reason to have all of those accounts anymore, and the most I can see a use for is maybe 2, maybe potentially 5 accounts. But let's just go with 2, so you have 1 crafting and processing account stationed close to the auction house to make some purchases as well. Maybe if you're hunting for rare mobs or pets and toys and transmog, then having 5 characters could help you, as you then have 5 times the chance of getting the loot you're looking for without using any type of multiboxing software, since you just have to be in a group when killing the rare mob, and everyone in the group can then loot the mob. But that is a really niche area, and I don't think too many people are gonna bother with it. So this recent news is pretty much the hot topic of the community right now, as people are expressing their opinions about it all over Reddit and Twitter. And to be honest, a lot of the feedback I'm reading looks to be positive. Many players have expressed anger as multiboxers have always camped certain gold farms, ranging from raw gold farms to battle pet farms, to specific BFA farms where people were multiboxing, to obtain sellable mounts as well as cloth and green items. For BFA, many of these farming areas also sadly collided with certain world quests, so if player 1 wanted to do a specific world quest, he could go there and see a group of multiboxers spawn camping the mobs for that world quest. This could be irritating for player 1 because doing that world quest could be impossible, or at least very difficult to get mob tags. A scenario that I've personally encountered is that I was going to do a world quest, I got to the world quest location, and it was taken by a 5-man multiboxer. And when I say taken, I mean he literally claimed the area and told me to go away in a very rude way, cursing at me and saying that he was there first, as if that even matters for a world quest area. And that can be very off-putting for a regular player just trying to do a world quest. After having read certain comments on Reddit, it is also fairly obvious that many other casual players have similar experiences with multiboxers. That being said though, let's get to the main thing about this video. How will this change to multiboxing affect gold making? Well, first of all, I see this having a fairly huge effect on herbalism and mining especially, and especially for Shadowlands' initial launch hype. These professions are always good for gold making because herbs and ores are always in high demand. With multiboxers, the supply went up by quite a bit, and most of those multiboxers did this with the sole intention of making gold, so the supply went up, but the demand stays the same. So from that point of view, this change means the supply will go down, but the demand will stay the same. That being said, not everyone used multiboxing to make gold, but I don't really think many people used flasks and potions on their multibox alt either, so multiboxing probably didn't drive up the demand by a whole lot at least. The next very apparent change in my opinion is the BFA zone-specific mounts. This includes the Dune Scavenger from Vuldun, the Golden Mane's Reins from Stormheim, the Terrified Pack Mule from Dustvar, and the Leaping Vein Seeker from Nazmir. The Leaping Vein Seeker in Nazmir was very popular for multiboxing as a certain location had an insane hyperspawn and a pretty low barrier to entry, meaning you could farm there with pretty much no gear, so you didn't even have to gear up your multiboxing alt. I also have noticed some multiboxers at a location north in Muldoon farming for the Dune Scavenger, as there are a couple of semi-closed off locations where they can farm in peace. I think all of these mounts will see a fairly huge increase in price now, especially the Leaping Vein Seeker and the Dune Scavenger, but that being said, it could still be a risky investment if you're considering investing, because we simply don't know how many of these mounts people have stocked up in their guild banks from multiboxing the locations for months. I think pretty much any herbalism and mining type of gold farm will go up in value, and this also includes farming in Pandaria, which is pretty lucrative due to ghost iron being used frequently to craft mounts from the Pandaria expansion, which people use to sell. This includes mounts like the jewel crafting panthers and the sky golem from engineering. A recent focus of mine has been uploading raw gold farming videos so you can make gold before Shadowlands comes out, without having to rely on other players actually buying your stuff. And this multiboxing news actually will affect that as well. If you went to Gorgrond after I made my Gorgrond video, it was full of multiboxers farming there. I got many comments on my video about that, so once again, it was an obvious problem. Hopefully this change will open up some more farming locations out there that aren't permanently camped by multiboxers, and that is how it will affect raw gold making, because whenever we made a video about a raw gold farm, then it was instantly flooded with multiboxers, and that made it really difficult for real players to go there and get mob tags and make it a successful farm. And while we're on the topic, let's cover a couple of the positive side effects of this change that don't directly impact gold making, but will affect you as a gold maker or a gold farmer. Multiboxing not being allowed will open up even more gold farms to the public, as one farming location will not be permanently camped by a multiboxer anymore. Sure, it can still be camped by 5 players, but in that case it requires 5 individual players to do so, not one player playing 5 accounts. This way there will be more room for more people or more individual people to farm. And since multiboxers have to find groups and find people to farm with now, finding a group might actually end up being easier. As some closing words, I guess I should read a line from the policy update, as people are still trying to find a way around the issue to keep multiboxing. We will soon begin issuing warnings to all players who are detected using input broadcasting software to mirror commands to multiple accounts at the same time, often referred to as multiboxing. Basically, you can still multibox, but you either have to alt-tab to your other accounts all the time, or set up one keyboard for each account. You can still have and play 5, 10 or 40 accounts at the same time, you just have to control every account manually, and let's be honest, that is not really worth it, and it's not scalable in the same sense multiboxing is, when you control all of your characters with one keyboard. And that is pretty much it for the video. If you liked it, leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and remember, we are doing a giveaway for an entire gold cap if we hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. I also have a Discord channel which you can join through the link in the description. And that is it, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon.